Hi guys, so today I want to continue read the book I read last time. The book is American Life and Institution. The last page I read was page 6. Okay. Most serious students of America, European and American realize that because so many image of America such as common normal part of cultures outside of America, it is almost impossible to separate the image from the actual, the reputation from the reality, even before the enormous influence of television. John Steinbeck stated that the picture of America and the Americans, which is branded on the minds of foreigners, is derived in very large part from our novels, our short stories, and particularly from our moving pictures. And he felt, while even the least informed American was able to separate fact from fiction, daily life from the dream machine of Hollywood, the foreigner too often was unable to do so. That that this line is not our line, not necessarily. That hundreds of image was already have of America is something that needs to be kept in mind. Okay, next. From California to the New York Island. Putting this problem aside for the moment, where of course it will refuse to go, one can agree with the many American books and experts that it is very difficult for a foreigner to grasp the size of the US and the great variety of life which goes on within it. In fact, one of the most frequent comments made by tourists who have traveled around the country is that they were surprised how big it is. And they were also surprised that the tremendous variety when they expected to find everything much the same all over the United States. Still, how can someone who lives in a country which can be driven across in a day or two be given a feeling for the immense distance of America, or for those wide open spaces? If we are used to recognizing the foreigner among us by his or her color, race, name, accent, or even religion, then how does it feel to live in a nation like the United States where none of this can tell you if someone is an American born and bred? One common approach is to make comparisons. For instance, to say that San Francisco is about as far away from New York City, some 4,500 kilometers, as Paris is from Baghdad. Such examples help, no doubt, but they also miss a basic point about the size and variety of America. This is the unlike Paris and Baghdad. About both American cities are within and of the same country and culture. We therefore need to imagine that it would be like if Paris and Marseilles were as far apart as are Francisco and the Big Apple. Imagine that we wanted to cross England, for instance, from Liverpool to London. Sorry, but had to pass through four time zones, go over three continental mountain range, cross literally hundreds of rivers, and spend days on the fast, flat prairie lands, we will drive past hundreds of lakes, woods, and forests, farms and ranches, the large cities with their millions, and the small towns that are just spots in the middle of the road. We will go through the world's most productive agricultural regions and the crowded industrial centers. We would still see enormous stretches of wilderness where motels and gas stations are few and far between. We would need to imagine these things between Liverpool and London if we wishes to have a feeling of that separates the new world of the West Coast from the old new world of the East, and the same time what holds them together. There's another way to get a feeling for the size of America. Take a look at the map of the United States on pages 128 and 129. If you are German, find Oregon, which is just about the same size as the Federal Republic. You can compare some of the facts about this state with those about West Germany, as Americans usually call the Federal Republic of Germany. If you are French, then Texas is about right, and Italians might try on Arizona for size. For the Dutch, half of Maine will have to do. While European tourists are so often surprised by how big America really is, most Americans take the size and variety of their country for granted. They don't find it exceptional to be able to drive thousands of miles and still be able to speak the same common language along the way. They don't have stickers on their cars which say USA. What else would it be? Many non-Americans may be unaware of the geographical size of the United States, but it is harder to imagine the enormous amount of variety that exists within the nation. Often students assume a cultural and political homogeneity that simply that simply does not exist in the US. That's why a simple question about United States cannot be answered shortly and simply. It is not possible to explain in a few words how old Americans have to be to drive a car, see map page 9, or how much income tax they have to pay. New York City residents, for example, must pay federal, state, and city taxes, while those lucky inhabitants of Concord, New Hampshire only pay federal income tax. Other aspects of America may be a far more serious challenge to our armchair expert after having learned that the buffalo are gone and the wildlife destroyed. They will find it hard to believe, for example, that in the state of Pennsylvania alone, there are some 9,000 bears, not counting those in zoo, or that some 50,000 wild horses are still running free in western states. Similarly, our experts may know the big three of commercial television in America: ABC, CBS, and NBC. Can it really be true then they ask the PBS, a non-commercial, non-profit public network, is the largest? Many more examples of this kind could be given, and the point needs to be stressed over and over again that just about any contrast and variety should normally be expected in America. Okay, maybe that's all can I read from this expert. Thank you very much. Sorry if I have so many mistake on pronunciation.